let's do a little I'm in the truck podcast. So, lots going on, lots changing. What is happening up here on River Street? We got to go this way. Oh my gosh. Just see? It's so interesting trying to do a podcast in your vehicle. So today we're going to talk about Run the Pier Summer Running Festival. I know that you guys love it when I talk about the race, but it's over. And so we'll recap that a little bit. Got some life developments that I'm excited to chat about. So we'll get into that. And we'll start talking. Wow, we're not going that way. That's faux show. We're going to go this way. Oh my goodness. We got to go all the way around. We love construction. We love construction. Wouldn't be summer without orange barrels. So, Run the Pier Summer Running Festival, I'm going to give us an A-. It was a massive success. For the last this was the 6th year of doing Run the Pier. The first year that we've done anything other than a 5K. So, for those of you that don't know, this is an annual 5K race that we've been putting on for now, what is the 6th year. And this year we added a 10K, a half marathon, and a full marathon, and a kids obstacle course race that had bounce houses and all kinds of, fun little deals for the younger generation of athletes to participate in. So we scaled in a massive way. We went from just doing a little 5K, a couple hundred people every year, to adding in all these extra races. It was a pretty big undertaking for, 3 local guys trying to make a dent in the universe. But I think we were pretty successful. Since the day that Run the Pier started, back when we had the Pier Foundation nonprofit, the goal had always been, how can we get to 500 participants? 500 is really kind of the tipping point for a real successful event. And we were close pre-COVID. Before COVID, before the lockdowns, before people were shitting their pants and Governor Whitmer was like, hey, you can't do anything. We were very close. We were going to have a 500 participant event.
This episode is brought to you by the Outsider of Manistee. We're showcasing their family tavern, their beer garden, and their arcade. Their large outdoor patio. This place is really awesome. It's very focused on family, getting people outside, getting them to tour the city of Manistee, showcasing our social district with their newly added indoor bar, which is awesome. They have 6 drafts, over 100 canned beers and canned cocktails to choose from on the menu. This is a really awesome place for the family. You got to mess the kids, fill their pockets full of quarters, let them have at those pinball machines. Mom, Dad, enjoy a nice cold draft beer or a canned cocktail. Get yourself something to eat, feed the family, feed the kids, wake up that liver a little bit, and then go enjoy downtown Manistee. These guys are located at 457 River Street. You can find them on outsidermanistee.com. Call them at 231-299-1235 or order for pickup and delivery at orderoutsider.com. Check this place out. You won't regret it. This episode is brought to you by the Ramsdell Regional Center for the Arts. You can find them online at www.ramsdaletheater.org. Or you can reach them by phone at 231-398-9770. So check the website for the ticketing information. That's www.ramsdaletheater.org. This episode is brought to you by Just Clean, Manistee's premier car wash, located at 146 Cleveland Street or just north of the US 31 bridge. Choose their ultimate car wash, folks. That's what I always do because I can't stand my truck being dirty. And the ultimate car wash is the best. It includes a triple foam conditioner, ceramic coating plus wax, and a 60-second heated blow dry. Get in, get out, get looking fly, get the dirt and dust and grime off your vehicle. Choose Just Clean Car Wash of Manistee. This episode is brought to you by Brandon Ball, broker-owner of Dwelling Realty, Keller Williams, Northern Michigan. Are you looking to sell your home? Then look no further. When you list your home with Brandon Ball, you'll get a trusted advisor who will guide you through the entire selling process. With extensive knowledge of the local market, he'll help price your home competitively to attract the right buyers. And with proven marketed strategies, your home will be seen by the most qualified of buyers. With 17 years in the business, you'll have someone experienced who's on your side. Contact Brandon today to get started selling your home. 231-690-4981. That's 231-690-4981. Or Brandon at dwellingrealty.com.
And we had to shut it down because of the vid. So we had a gap year, so to speak. So the vision, the hope, the mission, part of the mission was to get over that 500 participant hump, and we did it. We did it this year. We had 507 total registered participants, which was amazing. 92%, 91% of all registered participants showed up for the event, which is almost unheard of. Typically, these kind of events get about a high 60 to 75%, show up rate. A lot of people, just for whatever reason, things come up on the weekend that they planned on doing a race, and or they get injured, they drop out. But not for this one. We had, like I said, over 90% participation, which was crazy. And the goal, for that was to have a big banger of a party. So that's kind of where we had a couple of missteps, but before we get into those, the actual event itself was crazy. We had 170 half marathon participants that made their way all the way up to Onekama. Shout out to Manistee Transportation, Manistee Bus. We're getting some of our participants up there race morning. That was clutch. We appreciate your support. I'm telling you what, aside from construction and the amount of potholes on our roads, makes it difficult to have this delicious Outpost coffee. Anyhow, 170 plus people started a half marathon up in Onekama. We had about 80 do the full marathon. And the rest did the 5K and 10K. We had about 70 people do the 10K. And the 10K, I promoted that as an adventure race because there's a little over a mile of the course that you have to run on the beach, on the shoreline of Lake Michigan here in Manistee. And depending on the day, depending on the wind, depending on the weather the day prior, that beach sand could be a son of a bitch. And from what I'm told, it was a pretty decent run. Now, I ran that thing multiple times, and my feet touched that sand in different ways each time. Some days it was hard packed and I could fly through the mile, and some days it was like running on quicksand. So definitely a challenge. And then there's a set of stairs that you had to go up at one point to get to the upper level of the course, and then a short jog down a sandy road that turns into a single track. So it was a challenge, and looking at the number of participants for that race, I thought to myself, well, if the 10K turns out to be the kind of race that people just don't want to do, either I do a different route next year to keep the 10K as an option, or just delete it entirely. And you know what? When I thought I was going to hear people didn't like the course, I thought, well, that'd be a good reason to change it up. But everybody that I talked to, and I talked to a pretty decent amount of the 10K participants, those that finished in the front of the pack and those in the middle and at the end, and every one of them that I spoke to absolutely loved that course. So running on the beach next year. We're going to put a survey out to all of our participants to give us their feedback, because obviously we want that. We want the constructive criticism. We want to celebrate the wins and the victories of the day, but we also want to hear where we can do better, where we can improve, because the last thing we want is to alienate participants or not take feedback to improve the event, because I want more than 500 people. I want to get to my next goal is let's get to 800, then let's get to 1,000, then let's get to 1,500, then let's get to 2,000, and let's sell this business and move on to something different. That's what entrepreneurs do. So, and don't get it twisted, okay? If you are a small business owner, you want to sell your business. You want to get to a point where you can do the next thing, because in reality, you don't really realize any kind of profit until you sell. I know that. I sold Manistee Beverage Company. Living a dream here, folks. Living a dream. So, anyways, we'll get the survey out soon to our participants, and take that feedback and make adjustments and make it better. We were deficient in the amount of water at the finish line. We went through, I bet you, 1,000 bottles of water, and I had about half of that. So, yeah. I still had the 5K mindset going into this, and kind of prepared that finish line for a bunch of 5K runners that were just coming in to drink beer. So definitely got to pick that up. Definitely need more volunteers. Definitely need more aid stations on the route. I know these things. The routes need to be more dialed in. There were adjustments made about a month prior to the events for the 10K and the marathon route. Those adjustments weren't made clear on our website, so there was some confusion with our participants, and I'll take ownership of that. What it is, what is this? It is foggy as hell right now. But again, I had participants that have run multiple marathons, 50Ks. I talked to a lady that has done over 30 ultra events. She ran the marathon and absolutely loved it. There were portions of the race where participants missed a turn, and a lot of participants missed the same turn, which decreased their mileage. I thought we overmarked the course. In fact, I know we had plenty of signage on the course. Where we were lacking was volunteers directing traffic, so to speak, showing participants where they need to turn to ensure that they stayed on the proper course. So, deficient in that aspect, we're going to fix that. We're rectifying that right now. I mean, I'm already planning for next year, so we'll get the volunteer situation squared away. We'll have more aid stations. We were averaging about 5 miles between, and on a summer like we're having right now, clearly that was a misstep. So, like I told my boys and a lot of the participants in the event that I have close personal relationships with, and we were kind of debriefing as the event was going on. I couldn't get out of my own head in terms of, I was simply thinking of the race as how I run races. When I enter a race, there are things that I prepare for myself to kind of alleviate the need for things on a course. Number one is aid stations. Typically, if I'm running a half marathon, for example, I don't stop at aid stations. I just run through them. I carry the water that I think I need, the nutrients I think I need for the race, and I have one mindset, and that's to start and finish as fast as I can. So stopping at aid stations isn't something that computes to me. I might stop at 1 or 2 in a marathon. So when I was putting the 8 stations together, I thought I had more than enough. We had for example, the marathon would see up to 9 aid stations, but again, they were about 5 miles apart from each one, and that's two. Hindsight, I've got to take myself out of the equation and plan accordingly for how even the absolute most novice, this is my first marathon, I'm going to need to stop a bunch of times, athlete, and there's nothing wrong with that. So going forward, my plan is to have an aid station that is fully stocked, that is manned, womaned, whatever, the whole time, having them at a minimum of 2.5 miles apart. I mean, I think that's what has to happen. We need a large group of dedicated volunteers for this event, and we had some amazing volunteers for this event. So not to diminish the work they did, they were soldiers. They really stepped up for us. So happy for them. I mean, I'm incredibly grateful for them. I'm hoping that we can increase the aid stations to that 2.5 mile mark, and really ensure that this race is, well, I've said it a couple of times, but I really want it to be comfortable. I want it to be as cool as the other side of the pillow. I want it to be fluffy. I want athletes to go through this race feeling secure, safe, nourished and hydrated. I want next year's race, I want to be able to tell a marathon runner, you don't need to bring any water, we got you covered. You don't need to bring any food, we've got you covered. Shorts, socks, shoes, go. Well, maybe cover up if you need to. It's not that kind of race, folks. So, yeah. So on the next year, and on to Rusty Fish. So another event that we put on is the Rusty Fish. It's a gravel bike race, which started off as a super endurance race of over 100 miles. We've tweaked and tweaked and tweaked. We're really trying to make this event an event open to all gravel bike riders that want to experience some distance, but also don't want to destroy themselves on the course. That also includes, so this year we have a 33 mile and a 66. So we feel that the 66 will entice those that still want to do a little endurance, do a little distance, have a little extra competitive race. The 33 mile is open to more of, I don't want to say novice. If it's somebody like me, for example, I'm the runner in our group. A 33 mile bike race is super doable for me, for somebody who probably does about 150 miles on his bike a year. I could jump on my bike and do 33 miles. It would be a challenge for me, but that means anybody who is a novice at gravel bike riding, it'll be a challenge, but you can definitely do it. I have 100% confidence in you. So, rustyfish100.com, check it out. It's a ton of fun. We try to produce the same kind of event for the Rusty Fish that we do for Run the Pier. One of the things, I should circle back to Run the Pier, was the beer tent. So we bring in Stop Out Cancer, the SOC fund. The gals that run that organization are wonderful. We give them the day to have a beer tent, and they get 100% of the proceeds from the beer tent. We thought 12 to 6 today or the day of the event, was a good time frame to have a party. We promoted the beer tent as a separate event to hopefully encourage the community to come, because we felt that the community of non-racers thought that the beer tent was only for those that were participating in Run the Pier. It turns out nobody gave a shit. So the beer tent did about as well as it did last year. So we're going to retool that. Our participants wanted to have beers as soon as the race was over, and I don't blame them, because I do too. When my races are over, when I do races and there's a nice cold glass of beer at the finish, I want to partake in that as soon as I can. And so next year we're going to do it much earlier, because we had 1,000 people at the finish line, and it was amazing. And they stayed as long as you could expect these athletes to stay, especially those that did the half marathon and the full marathon. I mean, that takes a toll on your body, and they wanted to chill and hang out and have some beers. And the beers weren't available until noon, because that's when the liquor license was established. It was 12 to 6. So we're going to make a little adjustment, make that earlier, and see where that takes us, because we want to be able to raise as much money as we can for Stamp Out Cancer. It's an organization that's near and dear to my heart, so we want to make sure that they can fundraise and make some money. It's an important thing for our community. So what else? Oh, life update. Because I'm driving, I think we're going to do a little bit more of the in the car solo pods. A friend of mine who owns 3 car dealerships reached out to me about 2-3 months ago, asking me if I was ready to come to work. And honestly, after selling Manistee Beverage Company, I had zero desire to really sink my teeth into anything, and was planning on just spending the entire summer being a dad, working around the house, and focusing on Know Me Racing and the podcast. But, this guy's arm could only be twisted so much. And I had a decision to make, and with some prayer and talking to Betsy, and, this was a really good opportunity. So I've taken the position of Chief Sales and Marketing Officer for Watson Motors, overseeing the 3 stores, sales departments for training and for marketing, and with the hope of growing the business for my buddy. And that's what we're going to do. So anyways, I'm not going to get too deep into that. I haven't really made that the air quotes Facebook official yet. But yeah, I've been doing it now for almost a month, and it's been a fun challenge. It's been an interesting transition for me, interesting transition for my family. But we're gonna do this with the same kind of 100% effort that I put into everything. So I'm excited to see what this will bring, and I'll keep you updated as we go. But yeah, so anyways, I digress. I'm not gonna beat that drum too much today. But anyhow, it's pretty cool. So Rusty Fish, that's kicking off October 5th. And again, like I said, rustyfish100.com. It'll take you to our website. A couple of clicks will take you to bike registration, so you can sign up for the event. And again, like I said, we try to do the same for that event that we do for Run the Pier. So we're hoping to have some high volume participation, because we really want to grow this event. Know Me Racing is not just a passion project for me, Dylan, and Zach. It is a business that we want to grow. It shines a giant spotlight on our community at large. Both races now take place throughout the county. So these are county-wide events, and we love Manistee. We love Manistee County. There are so many wonderful things about our county, and we want to let as many people possible know about it. Now, there are some people out there that live in our community that want to keep it this quiet little area all to themselves. Well, that's selfish, and it doesn't help small business. It doesn't help our large business. It doesn't help our young people or our old people if we try to keep it small. We have to think a little more big box when it comes to how we want to see the future of the city of Manistee and the county. Now, there are ways to grow that still keep it the way that we all love it. All right, the way that Manistee and Manistee County is positioned, it's incredibly difficult for expansion of the human footprint. Okay, but bringing people into the community at certain times of the year, summer and fall and winter, you know, some little pockets there. And you're going to say, well, that sounds like year-round. Well, if we have an influx of people come and visit our community at peak times of year, spending dollars in our community, like say in the summer around the July-August time frame, it's a nice shot in the arm for our small businesses that need it to get through the slower seasons. But what we're trying to do with Rusty Fish is to bring more people in to those slower times of year. Yeah, we've got the color tour, which helps, but those are drive-through traffic. We used to have a very large snowmobile time of year, hunting time of year, but you know, things change. Our snowpack isn't what it used to be. We don't get that snowmobile traffic. But if we can find unique ways to encourage humans to come to our county and spend money, that's the goal. So if that's a race for one weekend, and it brings in an additional 1,000 people to our community, staying at our hotels, spending money at our shops and restaurants, that's a win for everybody. And I think more people need to understand that if we don't have a vibrant downtown, if we don't have people spending money out county in some of these smaller businesses, then our community starts to go backwards. We need money in our community. We need every dollar that's spent locally, every dollar that's spent in a small business. What's the percentage? I don't know. Google the percentage of how many dollars, the percentage of a dollar that's spent at a local business, what that turns into being spent by employees, by business owners, by reinvestment into the community. You know, people want better bike trails, better running trails. You know, we want pathways so that we can connect communities. We can't do that unless we increase the amount of dollars that are being spent in our community. So think about that. You know, if you want a hospital that has an OB, that has more than just an emergency room, well, we need more money being spent here. We need more people living here and not just part-time here. So larger conversation. I'm kind of all over the map with that, but I know what we need. I know we need more money in the community. We need more housing for workforce. We need more lower income housing. We're not going to get that unless we can if we can find unique ways to fund, to support, to increase incomes for those people that live in our community. So we're doing our part, however large or small you might think that is. I would love nothing more than to have a team that we could pay to help put on our event, right? It costs us over $20,000 to put on these events. Okay, we don't make $20,000, folks. It comes from participations in their fees, and it comes from our presenting marketing partners. It's a struggle. I mean, I'm good at asking for money, so and I'm okay with hearing no, and I'm okay with hearing no from the same person a bunch of times. They tell me yes. So and usually I don't get a whole lot of no's because people understand how important these events are to our community, the amount of people that come. Run the Pier, for example, with almost 500 people showing up to participate. If you just add a +1 is 1,000 additional people that descend on our downtown. Now, are all of them going to the restaurants or going to the shops? No, but I can tell you right now there was more than 1,000 people that came to the city of Manistee for our race, for Run the Pier. So there was a lot of money spent throughout the weekend just from the participants in our race. We had 280 people show up to the Outsider restaurant for pre-registration the Friday the night before. A lot of them bought food, a lot of them bought drinks, a lot of them had beers and walked around downtown in our social district. I feel like I'm just sitting here saying this is how awesome we are, but what I'm trying to tell you is it's events like this that really help move the needle on a lot of things. So yeah, I'm proud of it. I'm proud to be able to offer this to our community. It's important to me. I can't do a lot of things, but I can do this. I can shine a light. I can be active. I can volunteer, and I'm going to volunteer more. You know, Betsy and I had a long conversation the other day about, hey, you're asking a lot of people to spend hours out of their day to help you, Zach and Dylan, do this event. You need to make sure that you're volunteering, that you're getting out there and showing that it's just as important to you as it is that you ask other people to do it for you. So yeah, so I'm gonna do more volunteering as much as I can, as much as I would ask anybody else. If you've got a little bit of time, a lot of times, you know, when you're being asked to volunteer for something, it's like an hour or two out of your day. So I can find an extra hour or two out of a lot of my days to support local events, local organizations that need help. So I'm gonna make sure that I start doing it. You heard it here first, folks. I already volunteer for a number of things, but I'm gonna do more of it because I think it's extraordinarily important. Events cost money, and staffing those events, if you can get volunteers for them, saves the organizers so much, and they can put more into the event. So yeah, volunteer. So that's what I got for you today. We're gonna do more of these little ride-alongs. I hope you're down for it. I do have some traditional podcasts coming up. I'm gonna have a couple of friends on that I think you're gonna find some interest in, and I've got some individuals that are running for district seats for the county, and I'm probably gonna throw on some people running for city council. I think that would be important to get their voices out, whether you agree or disagree with them, because your politics and mine shouldn't matter on individuals trying to get the word out. And I have a little bit of a platform locally, so if they've got something to say, I'm gonna let them say it, whether I agree with them or not. So yeah, so keep an eye out for that. I'm gonna start producing those podcasts in August. What else? I am working with the Ramsdell Theater. They'd like to have me do some podcasts on their stage, which is sick. However, the cost to produce those podcasts is a little high. Ramsdell is giving me the stage and the venue, which I think is awesome, but producing, I'd like to do something a little more than just an iPhone and some lights and mics. So that's going to cost me close to $1,000 to produce the way I want them to look. So I got to work on that. I got to find a little cash for that. So anyhow, I love each and every one of you. I hope you have a kick-ass day.